Alright guys, welcome back. We today are learning about CPCTC. Now, before you freak out, it's not a big deal. And before you start copying all these notes down and ignoring me, look guys, you can pause the video, okay? So if you need to pause the video and copy the notes down, then pay attention or whichever way makes you feel more comfortable. Now look, CPCTC is not bad. Now think about back when we first started, right? When we first started doing this, we said there are 6 parts in common on congruent triangles. You get 3 sides, you get the 3 angles, and they all match up, they're all congruent. And we started asking, how many pieces can I take away and still have congruent triangles, right? And we got down to 3 pieces. We said, okay, you could have like side, 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 or side, angle, side, but it doesn't always work like angle, angle, angle. It does not work, okay? What CPCTC is saying is, say I have 2 triangles, say they're side, 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 okay? And I want to prove that the angles are congruent. Well, all I'm going to do is do my regular triangle proof with the side, 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 and at the end say, hey, look, now I know these triangles are congruent. That means all the other parts are congruent too, because that's what congruent means, right? They're the same shape, they're the same size. So CPCTC stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Or remember that word corresponding is like matching, right? The matching parts of 2 triangles that are the same shape are going to be the same. That's all it's saying, okay? Now I know that CPCTC sounds crazy. It sounds like, if you say it too fast, it sounds like a disease or something, okay? It's really not bad. It always goes at the end of your proofs. You never put it anywhere else. You just do your proof, and the last step after the congruent triangles, you just pop it on there. So we're going to walk through 2 proofs, and then that'll be that. So let's take a look. All right, so this first proof, we want to say that side AB is congruent to CB. So notice what I'm trying to prove. I'm actually trying to prove this part congruent to that part. I'm no longer asking, hey, what's the triangles? Are they congruent? We're going to assume that they're congruent, and we're going to have to prove that. They must be congruent. And then at the last step, we're going to say, since they're congruent, these sides are congruent. So here's my statements. Here's my reasons. I'm doing this with a mouse, so it might be a little sketchy. Okay? So, a couple things. I know that angle D, and we can't just call it angle D, right? Some of you missed that on your quiz. If I just say angle D, you don't know which angle I'm talking about, so you really have to be clear using 3 letters. So I know angle ADB is congruent to angle CDB. Okay, whoops, there should be a D in there. Okay, and I know that because it's given, right? We love the given family. Very kind. Help us out. Help us get good grades, or at least decent ones. All right, and I also know that angle ABD is congruent. Remember, it's the middle letter is the letter that tells you what angle we're talking about. Is congruent to CBD. And that is also given. Okay, we're feeling good so far. Again, this whole piece just works the exact same thing that we've been doing. We're just proving triangles congruent. All right, and then we know that BD is congruent to BD. And that's reflexive. And again, that should be a breeze. We should be crushing anything that's reflexive. We should be really good at that. Okay. I'm just going to go call it a ref. All right, now I have an angle, right? That guy's my angle. Here's another angle. Here's a side. And I look at my triangle and say, oh, I've got angle, side, angle. So I'm going to say triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. And look, that's by ASA. And normally we would stop here. Okay, but we're going to take it one step further. Look at what we're trying to prove. Remember, whatever you're trying to prove is always your last step, right? So I know the triangles are congruent, so therefore all the leftover parts that match that I haven't talked about must be congruent because I know these are the same triangle. So AB is congruent to CD. Okay, and I look at that and I say, okay, so this guy must be congruent to this guy. Reason, CPCTC. Okay, that's it. Done. Done with your proof. It's the last step. It's the thing we're trying to prove after the triangle. So it's just going one step further than your congruent triangles. So let's look at one more. And this one's actually, if anything, even easier. We want to prove that angle M is congruent to angle R. Okay, so here's my statements. Here's my reasons. I know that MO is congruent. Okay, M is that angle to O, so it's congruent to RE. And that's given. And then I also know that ME is congruent to RO. This is tricky stuff, I know. All right, also given. Remember, on the test, at least get your givens down, guys. At least get yourself some of the points guaranteed. That should be easy. All right, and then we also know that OE, and again, OE on this triangle is going this way. On this triangle, it's going to go to EO. But again, just so long, if you go OE and OE, that's fine. I'll still take that. And those guys are congruent, and that's reflexive again. All right. And then our last two steps, we're going to say the triangles are congruent. Again, just like we normally do. So MO is congruent to, let's see, M to O to E is REO, REO. Okay. And that's by side, side, side. All right, so that's my second to last step, right? Last step, we want to prove that M is congruent to R. So that's going to be my last step. Angle M is congruent to angle R. And the reason I know that is because I know these triangles are congruent. Therefore, all the other parts are just going to match up, and that's by CPCTC. Okay? Don't let the long, crazy acronym scare you. It's all right. It's fine. You're going to be just fine. So, since I'm not here, tell you what, I'll give you a light day. You can just get started on your homework, and you can work on your homework and then just be done for the day. Okay? So, page 204, 1 through 9, 9 through 14. You can call it a day.